Today we continue with our class, Halachos of Brochos. Today's class number 28. So in the start with Sefer Halachos Chaim, when the big topic is the same, believe in Lashon Hara. And today's topic is habitual sinner. The prohibition to accept Lashon Hara does not apply when the subject is known regularly engaged in negative behavior under discussion. Thus, if on a number of occasions one has personally witnessed an individual committed a particular sin, he would be permitted to believe that the person committed the sin again. Right? So, I mean, if somebody is sinner and so there is no requirements to look for a benefit of the doubt for this guy. Okay. The Chofetz Chaim seems to suggest that one would even be permitted to believe that the person has committed a different sin. Right? So, I mean, as we said in our Hilchas Teshuvah class, what is the punishment for the sin? Another sin. So, if he did this sin constantly, whatever he did, whatever we are aware of, so why would be a big surprise if he is doing other sins also? Okay. When a person is known to totally disregard the Torah and all the mitzvahs, one may certainly accept the report that he committed any sin. Okay. If one is known to regularly transgress a particular sin out of temptation, one would be allowed to believe that he transgressed it again, but would be required to reject the claim that this time it was done maliciously. Okay. So what does it mean? So first of all, if we know that that this person is very good in committing the sin, so I mean you can believe that he did it again. First of all. Second of all, Chofetz Chaim says, and I think that's what he said. I remember learning it, right? So if he committed this sin, so we can assume that he did the other sins also, right? I'm not sure it says suggests, seems to suggest. I think Chofetz Chaim is very clear about it. I'm not sure why he's saying that. Okay, so okay, continue. So we can check this. Right, continue. So today we're up to chapter number 10. Very interesting topic as usual. And the topic is length of time for a bracha. Time a bracha is effective. Right. So meaning if you say the blessing, right, and you start, let's say, drinking coffee, small sips, like how long you can continue, right? Or you stopped and you want to drink a second cup. That's what you plan. Do you need to say another bracha, or that original bracha actually is good? Length of time. Okay, so last chapter was about changing location. Okay, introduction. If a person makes a bracha, does it remain its effectiveness indefinitely? For example, if a person made bracha on apple in the morning, will that bracha be still effective to cover apples when he will eat them at night? Okay, that's a good question. So I guess, of course, it's a hypothetical question, but let's say he did not move from morning to night. He was in the same room. Okay. After a person finishes eating, does he have a limited amount of time within which he must make a bracha Achrona? Or can bracha Achrona be made indefinitely? So two different questions. So first question, how long this original bracha is effective. The bracha Rishona, right? That you make before eating, right? And second question, how long after you finish eating you can still have the ending blessing? Okay, so two different questions. Okay, in this chapter we'll see that when a person finishes eating, he has a limited amount of time within which to make the bracha achrona, right? The ending blessing. The amount of time that is takes to for ikul, the halachic definition point in digestion process to begin. Okay, we're going to see what does it mean. So how do we know when digestion process begins? We're going to see. After the amount of time elapsed, he can no longer make a bracha. So as we understand, from this that if we're talking about digestive time, digestive point, right? So it means that it would depend on the food, right? So, for example, if you ate meat, or you ate a light snack, or you have fruit, it's two different things, right? Or you had bread, right? From bread, you, as we know, you have satiation for a longer time. Okay. Continue. We will examine whether or not the effects of bracha Rishona are also influenced by this time limitation. Okay. Second try. Second. Wow. Limitation. Okay. In section A, halachic digestion equal is defined. So of course, I mean, if it would say like a medical point, it would be different with different people, depending on his age, on everything. Like, but we don't care about this so much. So we're talking about halachic point. Section B, we examine how long bracha Rishona remains in effect. So it's bracha Rishona, meaning the first one. For example, if one made bracha on a cup of coffee and wishes to have a second helping an hour later, is his first bracha still effective? Right. So let's say in this case, let's say he even planned to have he has smaller cups. Coffee is not that strong, and he planned to have 2 cups, right? So if is the original bracha Rishona is going to cover the second cup. That's what we're going to discuss. Section C deals with the time within which the bracha achrona may be made. For example, if one sat at the table after dinner and had an hour-long conversation, is he still permitted to make bracha achrona? Very good question. So he was sitting around the table, right? That doesn't mean that. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, we'll see. In section D, we discuss some rules related to Shiur Ikul, for which a number of particular applications involved. Shiur Ikul, so meaning like how much you need to eat in order, like Ikul is a digestive point, basically, when the food starts digesting. Okay, we're going to explain. Okay, here we go. A definition of Shiur Ikul. Digestion, as conventionally defined, begins to occur at the moment the food enters the body. Okay, that's how they taught us in school, right? You swallow, and right away the stomach acids start digesting the food, right? That's how we know. The term Ikul is used with regard to Hilchas Brochos, refer to the particular point during the digestion process. So it's not when it starts, right? It's not the starting point, it's some other point. Ikul does not begin immediately when the food enters the body. Rather, a certain amount of time elapses from the point at which one stops eating to the point at which Ikul, halachic, the digestion, halachic, they say many times, right, begins. This amount of time terms as Shiur Ikul. Okay, so let's try to understand. So on one hand, we say that Ikul, the term Ikul, it has something to do with digestion. On another hand, they say no, it's actually start after person finished eating. Okay, sometime after. Okay, and from that time, we count amount of time that we can say the blessing. At least we're going to use that number to figure out how long. Okay. Shiur Ikul. Okay, continue. Shiur Ikul is a relative measurement depending, among other factors, on the type and amount of food is eaten. Right? So, I mean, if a person overate is one thing, right? The digestion would be very slow, as we learn in Rambam, right? But if he ate light food, banana, he ate apples, so I mean, it's very light, or he drank coffee or something, right? So it would be different Shiur Ikul. Generally, the body is able to begin digesting liquids more quickly than it is able to begin digestive solids. It's like obvious, right? It is able to begin digestive the light snack more quickly than heavy meal, right? As we said, apples much faster versus a piece of meat or beans or something. The Shulchan gives the following indicator for establishing when at a particular point in a digestive process has begun. When one was full after eating, beginning to feel hungry is an indication that Ikul has begun. Conversely, as long as one still feels full from the food he has eaten, Ikul has not commenced. Okay, so Shulchan Aruch is very clear. So Shulchan Aruch is saying that when this digestive point, again, halachic digestive point begins, right? So they say when you feel hungry again. So as we understand, it depends what he ate or drank, right? If it was only, I don't know, water or some juice or something, right? So he would be hungry, right? Very soon, right? And after heavy meal, he would not be so hungry after like some time. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. For example, if one finished eating supper at 7 p.m. and feels full, and at 8:45 p.m., so 1 hour 45 minutes later, he begins to feel hungry, Ikul is considered to have started at 8:45 p.m. The Shiur Ikul, so it's a measure of this Ikul, in this case is 1 hour and 45 minutes. So meaning what? Meaning in this specific case, they say that you can say the blessing for 1 hour and 45 minutes after you finish eating. Okay. However, a small amount of food is eaten, and thus one is unable to determine whether or not he still feels full from the food he ate. According to most poskim, there is a minimum Shiur Ikul, which is 72 minutes. So okay. Not everybody agrees, so we're going to see what other poskim say. Okay, so let's try to understand first before going on. So the author is saying that if he's full from the meal, we understand that. And now 45 minutes, it's understandable. But now he had the small snack, so most likely he's not full. I mean, he's already hungry. Like I don't know, 5 minutes later, he wants to eat something else. All right. So according to most poskim, there is minimum shiur, which is 72 minutes. So Shiur Ikul, meaning the time after you finish eating, is 72 minutes. You can say blessing. Some poskim have a rule that digestion may have begun even before 72 minutes have elapsed. Even according to this view, digestion does not begin before 30 minutes have elapsed. So technically, as we said, most poskim say 72 minutes. You can rely on this. Okay, I would say, to be on a safe side, try to. Of course, it's proper to say that after blessing, right away, after you finish eating, right? But if not, as I say, 72 minutes or half an hour. Okay, continue. So half an hour is more stricter, as we understand. Continue. B, Bracha Rishona. Most poskim, so Bracha Rishona, the first blessing before eating. Most poskim rule that although a lapse of time, effective Bracha Achrona is not effective, it does not affect Bracha Rishona. One more time. Most poskim rule that all the lapse of time affects Bracha Achrona, so meaning the end blessing, it does not affect Bracha Rishona. So meaning, let's say, let's go by the most opinion, most poskim. They say 72 minutes, right, after, okay? But it does not affect the Bracha Rishona, meaning that he can continue eating longer than that, right? Meaning the Bracha could be in effect if there were no interruption, more than 72 minutes. Okay, so what does it mean? Example, a person makes a Bracha, eats some nuts, and sits down to read the Sefer. An hour and a quarter later, he wants to eat more nuts. Since Bracha on the nuts is valid for the entire day, provided it is not terminated by change of location, a decision to stop eating, or recital of Bracha Achrona, he may continue eating nuts or any other fruit that was included in the original Bracha until the time he goes to sleep, without having to make a new Bracha. Okay, so let's, it's very interesting example. Let's read again, and there are commentaries, and we're going to explain. For example, a person who makes a bracha, eats some nuts, and sits down to read Sefer. An hour and quarter later, so it's already more than 72 minutes, it's 75 minutes, right? A commentary. As previously stated, according to some poskim, when a small amount of food eaten, Shiur Ikul is reached at the little as 30 minutes. Right, so this nuts is actually, as we say, is under 30 minutes, right? So according to some poskim, majority said 72. According to all opinions, Shiur Ikul takes effect after 72 minutes have elapsed. Okay. Okay, so after 72 minutes, that's it. So continue. An hour and a quarter later, he wants to eat more nuts. Since the bracha of nuts is valid for the entire day, okay, so I mean, one more time, if he's not going out, if he's not taking a nap, if he does not switch to some other different activities that let's say he's working from home, so he does something on a computer, so he forgot about these nuts a long time ago, right? On the entire day, provided it is not terminated by change of location. So he went outside to throw out the garbage, to check mail, or stuff like that, right? Or a decision to stop eating, right? Or he said that that's all, that's enough for me. Those nuts, they're not healthy, that's too much, okay, right? Session. Or a recital of Bracha Achrona, right? Or he said after blessing. He may continue eating the nuts or any other fruit that was included in this original bracha, okay, until the time he goes to sleep, without having made a new bracha. Commentary. According to some poskim, however, bracha Rishona only remains in effect up to Shiur Ikul. In the above example, being that Shiur Ikul has elapsed, this original bracha, according to this view, is no longer valid. A new bracha Rishona is required. So, okay. So one opinion, it says very interesting opinion. So they say the whole day, unless he terminated the original bracha. Okay, no problem. So second opinion in the note, so he did not put, the author did not put it in original in a text, right? He put it only in a note. They say no, this bracha is only until Shiur Ikul. Meaning whatever is needed for whatever it takes to digest this food until the time he's hungry, or 72 minutes. So, right? So, I mean, from nuts, I don't think somebody, unless he ate a lot of nuts. So usually people take a few in a time. So he's hungry after 72 minutes. Okay. So, but according to first opinion, the whole day, unless he interrupted. Continue. Bracha Achrona. So now it was the Bracha Rishona, the first one. Now we're going to the last one. Bracha Achrona. A Bracha Achrona, according to all views, is affected by Shiur Ikul. Okay. One may make the Bracha Achrona only up to the time it takes for Shiur Ikul to elapse. Since Shiur Ikul has passed, the Bracha Achrona may no longer be made. Okay. So as we said, until he's hungry, or minimum 72 minutes, or according to another more stricter opinion, 30 minutes. The poskim advise that one should always make bracha achrona as soon as possible after finishing eating. That's a proper way. That's okay. So when we say shiur ikul, all these things for bracha achrona, of course, it's after the fact. It's after the fact when he did not do it. But properly finish it and just say bracha achrona. As possible as finish as soon as possible after he finished eating, in order to avoid the possibility of being delayed beyond the time limit within which the bracha achrona may be said. Also, to avoid the possibility of forgetting to recite the bracha achrona entirely. I mean, he switched to different activity, he forgot. I mean, it's very, very possible. Note: a bracha achrona is required only if one ate a kezayis or more of food, or drank revi'is, or more of beverage within the specified minimum time period. So one more time, bracha achrona is required only if one ate kezayis of food or more. So kezayis, we said it's like 28 grams, around 1 ounce, right, of food, or drank revi'is, or more of beverages within specified minimum period of time. So revi'is, we said approximately 3.2 ounces, it's 86 grams of liquid. Okay, continue. Number 1, small amount of food eaten, snacks. A, preferable. Since the body begins to digest small amounts of food quickly, it is especially important. One second, sorry. Sorry. Since the body begins to digest small amounts of food quickly, it is especially important to make bracha achrona as soon as possible after eating, so and not to inadvertently pass the shiur ikul. So we're talking about small amount of, I don't know, piece of candy. No, if candy, let's say, I would say candy bar. Candy bar is a better example, right? I think it has an ounce, maybe even more than an ounce. It's very heavy. Okay, so do it as soon as possible. Because why? Because we like, as I say, it is especially important to make bracha achrona as soon as possible after eating, so as not to inadvertently pass the shiur ikul. Okay. Therefore, when one eats small amount of food, for example, he's still hungry when he is finished, or eats a light snack, or takes drink between meals, there is a can of soda, a piece of cake, etc. He should be careful not to delay making bracha achrona. So, I mean, in general, he should be careful, but in this case, when it's only a little food and he's still hungry, especially. Similarly, when one eats small amount of food at the bread meal and is still hungry, when he finishes, he should recite birchas hamazon as soon as possible after eating. Right. So even though it's same, I would say for birchas hamazon is 72 minutes, but do not procrastinate, basically. Okay, so it was A. A was a small amount of food. Now B. Incurred delay for half an hour or more. So we said there is one like more stricter opinion. They say up to half an hour if it's light snack, if he's still hungry, right? Okay. So one more time, incurred delay of half an hour or more. If one ate a small amount of food and did not make bracha achrona within the half an hour from the time he finished eating, it is questionable whether the bracha achrona may be made. Okay, so some poskim say yes, but some poskim say no. That's too much, right? The poskim advise, therefore, to eat another kizais of food whose bracha achrona is the same as that of original food. By eating another kizais, one will be required to make bracha achrona. In the event, the Shiur Ikul has not yet passed from the time of original food was eaten. It too will be covered by bracha achrona. So let's try to understand, and let's read again and explain line by line. So it says that the poskim advised, therefore, to eat another kizais. So now he delayed a small snack, right? He ate banana, right? He's still hungry. So our poskim says, and he did not say blessing after half an hour. So since it is questionable, what he can do, he can make the blessing on another food that was not covered originally, right? Eat that food, and then say after blessing on all of this together, right? Keep in mind that he wants to cover the first banana also, right? So if time did not elapse and he's still allowed to make the blessing, okay, it is covered. If not, what can he do? It's too late. But in this case, why does he need to do this strict? In order to avoid the same blessing in vain. So as we know, it's what is it? It's a third commandment, right? Out of 10 commandments, not to say blessing of God in vain, right? Which is a death penalty. So we got to be very careful with that. So if we need to do the tricks, I mean, it's not a trick, but way around, that's what we must do. Not to be even close to that situation. They say, okay, so the commentaries say eat kizais of food. Now the kizais, so as we said, in order to say that after blessing, he must eat kizais, which is an ounce or 28 grams, right? And then he would be obligated to say blessing on a second helping of food, and he could include the first one, right? Or commentaries say, or to drink a revis of beverage. Water, however, should not be used as explained in chapter 13. So even though, so let's us understand what they mean. So for example, he drank coffee and now he's not sure if he can still make this blessing after coffee. So he should drink something that was not covered originally. Let's say he has orange juice or apple juice, right? So it was not originally covered. It was not in front of him. He did not plan to drink it. So he can say the blessing on this apple juice. And when he would be saying the after blessing, keep in mind this coffee also, right? The only exception is water. So even though when the person drinks water, he makes the blessing, right? There is some exception. For example, if he is not thirsty and he only drinks to take medicine, right? He just drank the whole cup of tea, and now he forgot. Oh, I have to take this medicine. So he takes a glass of water. Of course, he does not want to drink this water. It's tasteless, and he would prefer the sweet tea or whatever he wants, right? So in this case, he would not be allowed to say, not be required, or maybe even allowed to say the blessing on the water. But otherwise, he should say, right? And he should say after blessing on the water also. But to fix the situation, they say it's exception. Don't do it. Do on something else. So one more time to remind that he must have a kizais of food. So if he has less than kizais, so this second blessing does not help him. Continue. By eating another kizais, one will be required to make bracha achrona. So after blessing, in the event Shiur Ikul has not yet passed from the time of original bracha food was eaten, it too will be covered by bracha achrona. Right, as we discussed before. So he made one blessing, and then for example, he started eating bananas, right, and then decided, oh, you know what, I want to eat strawberry also. So he said, since it was not planned to eat strawberry, so now he made separate blessing on strawberry, but after blessing he has only one. He says only one. So and this after blessing would include bananas and strawberry. Right? That's a general approach. General approach. So basically, in the last line here, the author is saying that since it is questionable whether he can or cannot say the after blessing, right? So he says to himself, if the Shiur Ikul did not pass, let this be included. Let the first food will be included in my after blessing. If not, not. Okay, I'm saying only blessing on the second food, whatever was it. Okay. We have learned in section B that according to some poskim, the Shiur Ikul, if Shiur Ikul has passed, new bracha Rishona will be required. So first opinion was that it's the whole day, right? Other opinion, as we read in that note, said no, it's not the whole day. After Shiur Ikul, let's say 72 minutes, 30 minutes elapsed. That's it. That's it. You need to make a different blessing. Okay. I mean, we're not talking about the case when he still drinks the same cup of coffee, right, or his same glass of water. We're not talking about it. We're talking about something else, right? He wants to eat something else, even that he planned before. Okay. Therefore, when one takes additional kezayis, he should, if possible, take of type of food which was not covered by original bracha Rishona. By doing so, he will definitely have to make a new bracha Rishona on additional kezayis. See the footnote for further application. So we're going to see the footnote, but before we continue, let's try to understand what it says here before all of this explanation. So one more time. We have learned in section B that according to some poskim, the Shiur Ikul has passed, a new bracha Rishona would be required. We said that, okay. So one more time, one opinion the whole day. Second opinion, only Shiur Ikul, meaning half an hour or 72 minutes. It's a big difference. Therefore, when one takes additional kezayis, he should, if possible. So he should, if possible. So what does it mean? Right? We just said that there is a second opinion that gives the whole day. So we always try to go by all of the opinions, right? So even though the majority said no problem, right? So we want to include even my minority opinion. I'm not sure in this case specifically. It does not say what's the minority. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's 5 against 4, right? So it's not such a big. It is minority opinion, but it's still very strong opinion. So we're trying to go like middle of the road according to all of the opinions. So they say one more time. Therefore, when one takes additional kezayis, he should, if possible, right, take of type of food which was not covered. Let's say it was in the refrigerator. He did not mean it, as our case example with the bananas and strawberry. What was not covered by original bracha Rishona. So when he was eating bananas, he did not intend to eat strawberry because you have to wash them and clean them and all these things. Okay. By doing so, he will definitely have to make a new bracha Rishona for sure on the additional kezayis. Okay, so let's see footnote F. If one takes a food item which is covered by original bracha Rishona, and the Shiur Ikul of the original food has passed, a new bracha Rishona would be required. according to the minority view only. So one more time, and we're going to explain. If one takes food item, which is covered by the original Bracha Rishona, and the Shiur Ikul of the original food has passed, okay, and new Bracha Rishona would be required according to minority view only. So let's say he was eating apples, there were 3 apples in front of him, so he finished one, and 72 minutes passed. So now he wants to eat another one. So, but minority opinion said, no, that's it, that's the weight, right? You cannot say. You cannot eat it without blessing. Okay, continue. However, if one takes food which is not covered by original Bracha Rishona, he must make new Bracha Achrona according to all of the views. But if he was eating bananas, right, and now he wants to take strawberries, so according to all of the views, so these strawberries were never covered to begin with, right? And needless to say, now not covered. Okay, according to all of the views. Continue. Regarding which food are covered by one's original bracha, see chapter 7. So I mean, we discussed it. So as just to remind us, right? Just whatever is in front of him, whatever he planned to eat, right? Even mentally, or he usually eat during his meal. Okay, so all of these things are covered, but other things are not covered. If the only food available is covered by original Bracha Rishona, he should not make the new Bracha Rishona on it, provided that he had not terminated the eating session. See chapter 8. So let's read it again, and we're going to explain. If the only food available is covered by original Bracha Rishona, so he has only bananas. That's all he has. Right. So in this case, we don't say it's made blessing, because there is another opinion, very strong one. They say he can continue eating bananas the whole day. Right. So he should not make the new bracha rishona on it, provided that he had not terminated the eating session. So in this case, maybe it's a good idea to terminate the eating session if he's not sure. So go out of your house, and that's it. Come back, and your eating session terminated. You say after blessing, and that's it. Right, and you would need to say the prior blessing this time. Okay. To illustrate, one ate apple, and after 45 minutes elapsed, realized that he has not yet made bracha achrona. All he has on hand are other apples, which are covered by original bracha. He should eat kezayis from the second apple without making new boreh pricha eitz. He should then make boreh nefashos, which is definitely required for a second apple and may be covered for the first apple. So that's the solution. Right, so if he has only things that were covered originally by original bracha, in this case apple, so he does not make the blessing on a second apple, but for sure let him eat minimum kezayis, and now he can cover the first apple with his end blessing. That's the case basically. For example, one eats an apple for 45 minutes. Okay, so take a little bites, right? For 45 minutes. No, I'm sorry. For example, one eats apple, and 45 minutes later realize that he has not yet made bracha achrona. He may take a veg of melon, which is definitely not covered by original bracha achrona, rishona, right? And make boreh pricha adama, and eat a kezayis. He should then make boreh nefashos, which is required for melon, and bracha achrona is still required for apple. Is covered if it's still required. Okay, so I mean a little different example, different foods, but same idea. So he ate this food, And sometimes elapsed, as they say, 45 minutes. So, meaning we had this opinion that some poskim say 30 minutes. So we're trying to stick to that opinion. So since it's questionable, not everybody agree. So let's say 30 minutes. So it's 45 minutes later. So he's already in questionable situation. So if he has, as we say, melon, right? So all he needs only kizayis. And even though the blessing on the first blessing, right, Bracha Rishona on the melon and apples, two different things, right? The apple is a fruit of the tree, and melon is a fruit of the ground, right? Right? Two separate things. But after blessing, B'rei Nefashos is the same, right? So he eats this piece of melon, right? And he can make the blessing after this piece of melon, and in his mind, he wants to include this apple also. Okay. Continue. Be'Ezrat. If one does not have additional food, okay. If one does not have additional food, or eating another kizayis is impractical, for whatever reason, right? He may make a bracha achrona as long as 72 minutes have not elapsed from the time he finished eating. If more than 72 minutes have elapsed, a bracha achrona may no longer be said. Okay. So after the fact, right, he does not have any additional food to make the blessing, no? So if it less than 72 minutes, he still have authorities to rely upon, right, to make the after blessing. No problem. If more than 72 minutes, don't make the blessing. So why? Because it was a small amount of food. So it was not small amount of food. That's the rule. So now we go to number 2, and number 2 is about large amount of food eaten, meals, right? So of course we understand. So it's the halacha would be totally different because the person is satiated for a very long time. Okay, so number 2. Let me know if any questions, by the way. Okay. A large amount of food eaten, meals. Preferable. When one eats a large amount of food, even though his bracha achrona is usually valid, if he made 72 minutes or more from the time that he finished eating, nevertheless, the poskim advise that it should be not unduly delayed, making bracha achrona or more. So 72 minutes, we say, or as long as one does not feel hungry, right? So, I mean, if after the big meal, maybe even 2 hours or 3 hours, he's still not hungry, right? Okay. So, of course, it's proper to say that after blessing right away. Continue. B. Incurred delay of 72 minutes or more. Okay. So technically, 72 minutes. It was only for a smaller meal, right? For a smaller snack, I would say, or meal, small meal. Now we have a large meal, and we say more than 72 minutes. With the snack, we said don't do it. After 72 minutes, don't make any blessing. Okay. If after eating large amount of food, one delayed 72 minutes or more, and he is not sure if he is beginning to feel hungry, the poskim advise that eat another kizayis of food, whose bracha achrona is the same as the original food, and make bracha achrona. Regarding the bracha Rishona, see above section B. Okay, so let's try to understand. So one more time, and we're going to see the commentary and explain. So it says, if after eating a large amount of food, one delayed commentary, or is uncertain whether or not he delayed more than 72 minutes. So, I mean, okay, but time, the time start ticking after what? After he finished eating. That's what we have to know, right? So, and now, I mean, maybe he did not check time and stuff like that. Maybe 72 minutes. Maybe yes, maybe no. Right. So let's say more than 72 minutes, right, or more. And he's not sure if if he's being feel hungry, maybe hungry, maybe not, right? The poskim advise that he eats another kezais of food whose bracha achrona is the same as the original food. So meaning what they're trying to say, that we're trying to fix the situation according to the most poskim. Okay. So technically, if he's not sure, if he's not sure, maybe he can still make the after blessing, right? So he should make blessing with another food with the same ending blessing, of course, and make bracha achrona. So ending blessing on this food that he ate, and plus on the food in the meal that he ate before. Regarding bracha Rishona, see above. Okay, section B. We said that. For example, if one ate a meal consisted of bread and incurred a delay of more than 72 minutes, he should eat another kezais of bread without making second birchas hamotzi, right? And then recite birchas hamazon. So commentaries say, in the cases in which one had already terminated his eating session, see chapter 8, a new bracha rishona would be required. So why is they saying he's not sure, and in this case you can eat bread without blessing, right? How come? Because we said that for blessing he has to go back, right? We said it in last time. For blessing, mizonos, and according to some opinion, even fruits of the 7 species like pomegranates, grapes, and olives, he has to make the after blessing in a place where he ate. Meaning what? As we explained last time, we said that meaning that he never terminated his eating session, because he was doesn't matter where he is now, he was obligated to go back anyway. So technically he can come back and continue eating technically, right? So in this case he was not sure 72 minutes elapsed, so meaning he did not go outside and all of these things, right? Or he did not intend to finish eating. That's what I mean, what they mean, right? So in this case, he just eats kezais of bread without blessing. I would say maybe he needs to wash hands, maybe without blessing. Maybe he's not sure if he touched something or not, right? And after that he can say b'shchar hamazon. B'diavad after the fact. Okay, he did not do that. He did not have extra bread, let's say. If one is unable to eat another kezais, or bread was the only example, another kezais of other food, and had the incurred delay of more than 72 minutes, but is certain that he has not begun to feel hungry, he may say a bracha achrona. Otherwise, bracha achrona may not be made. So for smaller meals, right, we said don't do it. That's it. You just miss the opportunity. But for large meals, right, he's not, so it's more than 72 minutes, right? It's one parameter. Second parameter, he must feel hungry, right? But he's not sure, basically. Maybe yes, maybe no. They say in this case, okay, he can still say bracha achrona, right? If otherwise, meaning if he's hungry, bracha achrona may not be made. Meaning what situation? He is hungry and at more than 72 minutes. If it's less than 72 minutes, so he can still say bracha achrona. That's the thing. Section D. Let me see how long this is chapter. No, maybe let's finish. Section D. Other rules are relating to Shiur Ikul. So Shiur Ikul, one more time to remind us, is a point when the digestion starts. Right? But halachic digestion starts. Other rules regarding Shiur Ikul. Number 1, wants to cover food with which will be eaten later. Very interesting. If one plans to eat or drink over the extended period of time, for example, he plans to have a few cups of coffee, cans of soda, etc., while spending afternoon studying, he should not cover the entire period with one bracha, Rishona, at the beginning and one bracha Achrona at the end. Okay, so even though we said there is such opinion that allows, we said don't do it. Commentary. This is because the bracha Achrona, and according to some Rishonim, bracha Rishona, is not valid after Shiur Ikul has elapsed. So why? Because there is such opinion, but there is a different opinion, even though it's minority, but still opinion that after, let's say, the drink after 72 minutes, so that you can no longer say the blessing. Okay. If he expects that there will be a lapse of time, more than 30 minutes before making the new drink, so 30 minutes because it is a small snack, right? Small water, beverages or a small snack. We said 30 minutes. If he expects that there will be a lapse of more than 30 minutes before taking the next drink or snack, he should make the bracha Achrona on the food or beverage that he ate, and then make new bracha Rishona when he starts eating again. So just break it in sessions, right? If he delayed more than 30 minutes, maybe he can delay it longer. How do you know? Right? So they say, okay, let's read the example and explain. For example, one plans to stay up the whole night and anticipates to having many cups of coffee. He expects, however, that more than half an hour will elapse before he will take a refill. Right? How much coffee? You drank 1 cup. Okay, you just sit down and do things, right? You're not going to continue. Maybe once an hour, 1 cup in an hour, I guess, in 2 hours, 1.5 hours, I don't know. He should recite Borei Nefashos, meaning the end blessing, after finishing the first cup of coffee. Later, when he takes another cup of coffee, a new shechakul is required. That's it. Right? So just it's not like continuous drinking. He finished one, he should say after the blessing, and then after some time, whenever he wants, he can start the next one. Note: halacha applies only in cases of bracha Achrona. So in the first blessing, will be required. For example, a shiur, the minimum amount of food is eaten within the specific period of time. See addendum 1. Where are we going to get to it? Regarding cases in which the food being eaten does not require bracha Achrona, see the footnote K. So we're going to go to footnote K now. So let's try to read one more time and explain. The halacha applies only in cases of bracha Achrona will be required. So meaning bracha Achrona will be required. What does it mean? That he ate or drank enough. So for food we said kizais, but the second parameter is not only the amount but only the length of time. Right? What is the length of time? Length of time is 2 to 3 minutes. Right? That's proper according to all of the opinions. And there are some opinions they say maybe even up to 9 minutes is the most lenient opinion. 9 minutes. So he or she should drink, like for example, like swallow this reviews, preferably in 2 times, right? 1, 2, right? Or according to some opinions, not everybody agrees, so they have 2 or 3 minutes to finish. But if it's longer than that, no, there are no such opinion. So if somebody drinks coffee with a small sips or tea with small sips, so basically he or she does not have to make the after blessing. So all of this that we said before, it's like irrelevant then. Okay. Not everything, but this after blessing is irrelevant. He should never say the after blessing because did not drink enough in the set amount of time, basically. So one more time, this halacha applies only in the case of bracha Achrona will be required. there is the shiur, the minimum amount of food, is eaten within a specific period of time. Regarding cases in which the food is being eaten does not require bracha, Achrona, see footnote K below. Footnote K. We have seen that according to some poskim, bracha Rishona is not effective beyond the Shiur Ikul. Right? So meaning after 72 minutes or 20 minutes, according to other opinion, so this bracha Rishona already is not working. Thus, if one eats small amount of food, for example, sucking a candy, his bracha will not be effective for another candy, since which will be eaten half an hour later. That's it. I mean, we understand that it's not the candy is very light. Okay. Therefore, if one plans to eat or drink small amounts of food over the extended period of time, the risk he plans to have on sucking candy now and there, and 3 or 4 more during the course of the evening, he should not cover all that he plans to eat with one bracha. So let's say evening, I don't know what is evening, 5 hours or so, 4 hours, 3 hours. So he planning to eat 3 candies, so he not cover the 3 candy with one blessing. So he eats 1 candy, finished. After some time, he takes another, and he can say another blessing. Rather, before each candy, he should make the bracha and have specific intention not to include food which might be subsequently be eaten. So another condition here, so a person say to himself, right, my blessing is going to cover only this piece of candy and nothing else. In this manner, he will be yotze his bracha requirement according to obvious, right? So for next candy, he would need to make another blessing. Continue. The lingered during the meal. Okay. So meaning they were sitting around the table just talking. If one ate meal and continue to nibble foods or sip drinks while lingering at the table, even if 72 minutes elapse from the time he finished eating the bread, he may still bench, right? Even more than 72 minutes elapse, right? Even though Shiur Ikul is not normally calculated from the is normally calculated from the time one stops eating the food upon which the bracha Achrona is to be made. Since in this case the other foods are eaten as a part of the meal, as long as he continues nibbling some food or sipping drinks, Shiur Ikul does not commence. So basically, they let's say the situation is that they finish eating bread, right? So technically, he's saying blessing after the bread, and they sit around the table, drink a little, maybe nibs a little food here and there. So still, even 72 minutes elapsed, he can still say the blessing. Why? Because it's like continuous session. So this Shiur Ikul starts after he finished his eating session, and this eating session technically, since they're still around the table, never finished. Okay, perfect timing, so we can stop here. We finished the whole chapter. Okay, any questions on any topic? Please go ahead. Okay, if not, then wish everybody good Shabbos, and until next time, Monday. Be'Ezrat Hashem. Thank you.